listen to reason? Will you open your eyes? It's a wonder what you'll find with an open mind. You may be surprised. Yeah, gotta get away from this illusion for the sake of the world. This delusion, it's gotta go.
Everybody, welcome to the Atheist Experience. I am your host, Russell Glasser, and with me today is nobody. Well, actually, the regular co-host couldn't make it today. I called my wife, Lynnea Glasser, and she is on her way through terrible Austin traffic. She will be here later in the show. I have plenty to ad-lib with. I have a talk I'm working on if we get really hung up for callers. Right now we have some callers on the line. Oh, hey, today is Sunday, February 8th, 2015. We are a live call-in public access atheist television show based in Austin, Texas, dedicated to promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. We're also available through live streaming TV or video at ustream.tv. The official Atheist Experience website is www.atheist-experience.com. You can provide feedback by checking out the official show blog, freethoughtblogs.com/AXP. You can also email us at tv@atheist-community.org. If you enjoy the show today, please check out our related podcast, The Non-Prophets. Currently airing on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. You can find the link at the Atheist Experience website, and the next Non-Prophets will be recorded live on February 18th, 2015. As always, the cast and crew of the Atheist Experience will be going to dinner after the show at El Arroyo at 1624 West 5th Street. We'll be arriving around 6 p.m., and anybody is welcome to join us. Today there was the Austin chapter of the Center for Inquiry had its Darwin Day celebration. I attended for a little while. I saw a pretty cool children's lecture by a guy who is an expert on spiders and the evolution of arachnids in general. He had a lot of cool, he had an audience of, it looked like, you know, kids between the ages of 5 and 12 mostly, and he passed around like some tarantulas and some non-lethal scorpions. It was terrifying and adorable at the same time. There were a lot of things going on, including cake around 4 o'clock, but I had to be here. So if you are not involved with the Center for Inquiry in Austin, you are missing out. Another thing that you don't want to miss out on is going to be the Texas Secular Convention, which will be held from February 27th to March 1st. There's going to be a rally at the Capitol, and then the convention at the Sheraton, which is near the Capitol. The events are going to be emceed by David Smalley, and the speakers will include Matt Dillahunty, Greta Christina, Annie Laurie Gaylor, Barry Lynn, and Jamila Bay, who has recently joined the Free Thought Blogs network herself, so you should check out her blog, Jamila Bay's. So you can learn more about that at the TexasSecularConvention.org. And now I'm going to hold some talking points in reserve just in case we run out of callers before Lynnea shows up. For now, I'm going to go ahead and go straight to callers, and I'm going to begin with Rob in White Bluff, Tennessee. Are you there, Rob?
Hey, how you doing, Russell?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Beautiful day here in Tennessee.
Great. How near are you to Memphis?
Memphis, I'm about 2.5 to 3 hours, I believe.
Oh, okay. Because the American Atheist Convention is being held in Memphis in April.
I wish I'd have known that.
Oh, well.
Well, now I do, though.
Yeah, now you do. There's still plenty of time to get connected.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Okay.
And I guess
what's up today?
Your producer told me to get to the point quickly, so I will make that attempt.
Well, today we have to stall a lot because I'm the only one talking, so feel free to waste my time.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a little bit of background on why.
Well, maybe not waste that much time. No, sorry.
I was raised in the South, about as deep in the Bible Belt as you can get. Mm-hmm. So I was inundated to Christian and religious culture. And about the age of 12, I decided I want to, I had a lot of friends. I had Pentecostal, Protestant, Catholic, Lutheran, a lot of friends who were religious in different ways. I didn't know which way I wanted to go. So I decided one day to sit down and read the Bible cover to cover. I was about 12 years old, and I did that, and the first thought in my head was, wow, that's a great story. But that's all that is. Like, I cannot see it connect.
I'm reminded of the South Park episode about Mormonism, where I think it's Stan listens to the whole story and says, so you guys hear the story exactly like I just heard it, and you actually believe that stuff?
Exactly. And, going on throughout my life, I had a lot of experiences, and I went looking to see what all these other people see, and I gave you full permission to laugh. I even went as far as to looking into Scientology.
Okay.
And all these are just stories.
Yeah, sure.
I don't understand. Here's my question. The average intelligent person, I don't understand how the average intelligent person can sit down, read this, I'm reluctant to say literature, and come to the conclusion that it's true and there's a mystical being watching over everything we do.
I want to be careful with this topic because a lot of atheists take this more rational than thou attitude, how
is that a bad thing?
No, I think it's great to act more rational. I just think that a lot of atheists who have come to what I consider to be the right conclusion on the God question automatically believe that they're smarter and better people than any other believer on earth. And you got to bear in mind that we're in a very, very tiny minority, and I know plenty of atheists who aren't geniuses. I think that it's good to have critical thinking and to be able to evaluate the information that you're presented with. At the same time, I think it's a good idea to recognize that a lot of different factors go into the belief that a believer has, and some of it is social pressure, and some of it is just, well, when you grow up and you're surrounded by religious people and you are never told anything different, and basically you're being peer pressured by everyone you know, that not only does everyone absolutely unquestioningly believe in this God thing, but also you need this God thing to be a good person. It's very, very difficult to go against the grain there. And I would never say that I think believers are generally stupid. I just think that they are susceptible to these cultural influences in some way.
And I agree with that. My issue is I don't have a problem with somebody being stupid. Stupid you can't help. And I'm not saying everybody who believes is stupid. My problem is ignorance. Because when you talk to more of these, I will say the louder of the religious people, they usually have 4 or 5 verses they have in their head and they repeat it over and over and over. And then I'll ask them more about the rest of their book of choice, and they cannot intelligently speak about it. So to me, that leads me to believe that they haven't read the whole story.
Yeah,
they don't know as much about their topic.
There are different gradations of believers, I think, and some of them just haven't read the Bible, but then on the other hand, they are not the ones who believe particularly strongly, or the religion that they have is a certain amount of background noise in their day-to-day lives. So they go to church because they believe that they're supposed to, and they have a general belief in God, but they never dig down too deeply into it. On the other hand, I think there are professional apologists, like, let's say, Kent Hovind, for instance, who basically lies for a living, or or Australian creationist Ken Ham, who is currently suing the state of Kentucky because they withdrew their tax breaks for his stupid Ark Park project. Yeah, that's a new development. He has just decided that he's going to sue them.
And just to make it clear, I'm not saying all religious people are stupid. That wasn't the point of this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it would do well for society as a whole to educate themselves on something they believe in. My wife is deeply religious, and I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I've talked to her many times about reading it front to back, and whether she doesn't have the time, which is a very busy person, whether she doesn't have the time or not is the only issue I hold with that, because I honestly believe it takes a very strong person to have faith. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, I sat down and read the book, I came to one conclusion. I would assume the intelligent person would come to that same conclusion.
Yeah, and I think very strongly that the best thing would be for everybody to be educated in sort of general critical thinking principles, not with the assumption that they will become atheist, but because they will develop the tools to be more skeptical of their religious books.
Right. I mean, we live in a day, in a society where everybody has within reach of them, we'll call it a cell phone, but realistically it is access to the whole of all human knowledge at their fingertips. In a world like that, you would think we'd have much more intelligent society as a whole.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that. So, anything else?
No, just wanted to get that out there.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you very much. You have a good day, Russell.
Bye, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lynnea Glasser. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. Doing some pinch hitting, filling in. So glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going to callers, or is something on your mind today?
Oh, things are always on my mind, but
of course.
if we've got callers, I mean, we can go ahead with that.
We've got a caller from San Diego. We have Matthew. What's up?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Good. It's great to finally get onto the show. I've been watching you guys for the past, couple of months now, and I've been wanting to ask a bunch of questions. I've been learning a lot from you guys. I'm an agnostic atheist, I guess, if you will.
Fair
if I
enough.
have to label myself. And I'm still learning. I've been doing this whole research thing on this for the past year now, and this whole idea of the Christian left, I totally agree with some folks who are conservative, Christian, Catholic, what have you, and I totally disagree with their ideas of, pro-life and anti-gay and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But then you've got the Christian left, liberalists, who are, I guess, agree with agnostic atheists who say, anti-gay is bad and anti-abortion is bad. So how do you disagree with folks like that who have a different view on life but yet the same ideals, if you will?
I'll let you in on a secret. You do not have to be in complete binary agreement or disagreement with everybody on Earth. You are perfectly free to get along with those liberal Christians as long as they're talking about basic principles that you agree with, like equal rights for homosexuals, like freedom of choice for women, like whatever economic system maybe the two of you both support. And you're also perfectly free to say, I think you're completely wrong about this God stuff. You're allowed to cherry pick what you do and don't agree with people on, because people are complex.
Yeah, it's hard, and I try to disagree with them, but I don't know. Sometimes I find myself generalizing them with the hard conservative Catholics and Christians and whatnot who agree with the.
Well, don't do that thing. Don't generalize people. I mean, just be happy for the thing that you do have different about them, and appreciate the kind of steps that they've taken to liberate themselves from the ridiculous dogma, and kind of, push that as a good thing and say, I'm glad that we agree on these kind of things, and probably it'll help them leapfrog to the next thing that they'll disagree with regards to Christianity or whatever.
Yeah, on this show, you'll frequently hear that we bring up a particular question, which is, tell me what you believe and why. And the reason for asking that question to any individual is because you don't want to overgeneralize based on one particular piece of information that you have about them. Like in this case, it's I believe in God and I call myself a Christian. And from that, like, I've made huge mistakes in the past because I talked to somebody who said they were a creationist, and I said, oh, so you believe in a 6,000-year-old Earth. And then it turns out that their views are different and more nuanced than that. And I started out on the wrong foot by arguing somebody else's position with them. And in general, you don't want to pigeonhole somebody based on one thing about them, because that is exactly how you get to places like, well, this black guy I talked to was dumb, so I guess I know something about all black people. And then you get racism and sexism and xenophobia of various different groups because you are rushing to lump them all into the same category and make the mistake of assuming that every single person you meet is a representative of their entire group.
Another thing to keep in mind is that, the liberalism plus this kind of weird belief is still a problem, because the fact that they're able to just kind of trust blindly in these things that don't really make sense. It's how we get stuff like the anti-vax movement or belief in homeopathy, because there's something that they like and they want to believe in, and so they kind of make that leap of faith, and it ends up being a leap of faith in a negative direction. So, you can still accept them as a person and enjoy the things that they've gotten wrong, and still kind of push for them to broaden their horizons and think more critically and, look for more trustworthy sources.
You still on the line there? Hello?
Well,
okay.
you can catch that in the archives, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So actually we don't have more callers lined up right now, so you've arrived just in the nick of time.
Oh, good. Well,
what's going on with you?
As you know, I created the universe, so
yes,
I will just create some more callers.
Oh, well, you better hurry up then.
Well, it takes time. You got to make an apple pie first, contrary to what Carl Sagan says.
Oh, so he actually got it backwards.
He did, but I appreciate that he kind of got it at all. Good on him.
Well, you did a good job creating that guy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
So I do have some arguments that I could have with callers from forever ago.
Okay.
If you want to do that. So I remember we had this caller once who he kind of believed that he had the power to pray for people and heal through prayer, and he knew this because his friend had a terminal illness, and he prayed for them and that person got better. And the question that I kind of have for this guy is, how does he know that that's a terminal disease? In the definition, what it is saying is that most people who have that disease are going to die. And the fact that that's the case means that the prayer doesn't work, or most people don't get prayed for, which is kind of sad.
Was that the one I talked to who said that his mom had, irritable bowel syndrome or something like that?
That was a different guy.
That was different. Okay.
Yeah, but praying for that too is also not impressive, because Well, that's not terminal. That is a thing that can spontaneously remiss or whatever.
Yeah, what was funny was that when I looked this up later, I actually had a psychologist friend write to me and say that this particular disease that this person had prayed for and then went away, that he said could be very serious, is actually considered to generally be psychosomatic and often goes away all by itself. So it's weird to attribute that to the prayer. So we do have another caller now. Good job creating them.
Well, yeah, you're welcome. I mean, psychosomatic is the kind of thing that would actually most likely benefit from prayer, I would imagine. Because
that's true.
Because if it's in your mind and then you think, oh, this thing's going to help me out, then it helps you out. So good job, placebo effect. I am all for using the placebo effect to its maximum benefit. Take an Advil, but sing a song first. That's like a headache curing song. I don't know.
Perfect. Alan in Florida. Alan.
Hello?
Hello.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, well, I hope somebody will turn that volume up for you or something.
Okay, I hear you better.
Good.
Yay.
Anyway, I was just wondering how all of you feel about what happened at the Capitol just a few days ago, where they had the Muslim Day at the Capitol, and then the Christians showed up and started doing protesting and saying that they don't want Sharia law, and they start basically yelling out the Lord's Prayer. Me, it just makes me feel like I'm ashamed to be a human being.
Yeah. Same.
I don't generally have a problem with the fact that there is a Muslim Day at the Capitol any more than I care that the Christians are going to rally at the Capitol. I think it is two groups with ridiculous beliefs clashing with each other. One of them is opposing the other's right to peaceable assembly, which is outlined in the Constitution, and should not be concerned with what kind of religion they are celebrating, as long as they are in fact peaceable and not inciting violence. So,
yeah. I mean, the Muslims at least took the high road and basically ignored them.
Yeah, that is a good thing to do.
Yeah, and it's sad because that's the kind of thing that they actually have to put up with all the time. It's really not pleasant, and they're facing a lot of racism, especially here in the U.S., and it's embarrassing and terrible, and I wish that people weren't that way. And it's especially ironic because there have definitely been multiple attempts to create exemptions for Christian laws, which is kind of, creating their own version of Sharia law from the Christians. And I think that they're worried that that's an inevitable thing that has to eventually happen, and they want to make sure that they're the winners in this. And so that means edging out everyone else in any way that they can. And it ends up with these horrible racial clashes and shows people, that their true colors. And it's a horrible thing, and I hope that one day it's in a history book as an example of what the racial tensions were like at the turn of the century, which I think we can now say that we are the new turn of the century.
Right. In my completely uneducated opinion, the United States is in no danger whatsoever of being under Muslim Sharia law at any point in the near future.
Right, I understand that.
And I think that anyone who shows up to protest and say we don't want Sharia law is correct on some trivial level, because we don't. But they're wasting their time and most likely misunderstanding completely the point of whatever this rally was.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering how you felt since it was in your neighborhood, basically.
I'm just hearing about it for the first time with you bringing it up.
Oh, well, I saw the video of it, and I just, it just felt so idiotic. I mean, I tend to kind of side with Gandhi about, I don't mind your Christianity, it's just your followers I have a problem with.
I also mind their Christianity. I mean, I don't mind them having the Christianity, but I do mind the things that are in the religion.
Right, I can understand that. I mean, I used to be agnostic years ago, and now I'm a polytheist. I follow Wicca, and
Well, I have no problem with your Wicca, just your Wiccans.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that too. I can understand. I mean, I love your show, and I just love watching the way that you bring facts to all these people that tend to just, want to put you down the most.
Right.
So,
well,
I mean,
thanks.
I love your show.
We try.
Great. It's a great show.
Thank
Keep
you
up
very
the good
much.
work.
All right. Bye, Alan.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Steve in Phoenix.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. My question is I saw a YouTube video where Matt was making the claim that God is immoral. And it was based on some commands that he had in the Old Testament where he commanded the Israelites to take slaves.
Okay.
But I don't think we can call God immoral, because our standards of morality, human standards of morality, are just that, human. We don't apply them to anything else. God is not human. Therefore, we cannot apply our standards of morality to God.
Oh, I see. So can we call God moral?
I don't think we can call God anything.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should just ignore whatever God says as commands to people and get on with our lives without that.
No.
No?
Okay.
No. That's not the same, you see.
It's not?
All right, go ahead, explain it.
God commands us to do things.
Okay.
Okay?
Allegedly, in the book. Yeah, go on.
Well, we're assuming these things, okay?
All right.
But God's commands are not immoral. Okay? Just because we find them immoral does not make God's commands immoral.
Do you believe in Satan?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Satan's commands are immoral?
I don't know what Satan's commands are. Satan doesn't give us commands that I'm aware of.
If Satan gave a command, would you follow it?
No.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Because he's not God.
Okay. Let's do this. What if an angel came down to you and gave you a command, and then later in that day, another angel came and said, "Hey, that previous angel was actually an agent of Satan. Don't do that thing." What would you do? How would you figure out?
Well, you're getting kind of crazy, I think.
Well, I mean, Satan is known for being a deceiver, right? So how would you know?
Oh, yes. How would I know?
Yeah.
Well, because if we're gonna stick to biblical principles, every time that God gives a command, that's backed up with proof. Isn't it? There are
really?
miracles provided. There are things that are provided to the person that lets them know unequivocally that it's from God and not from Satan. So
if an angel or if Satan comes down and does a magic trick for you, does that mean that that is proof that his commands are good?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're missing the whole point. Satan's not going.
Yes, you're right.
You're telling me that you're giving me examples of things that cannot happen according to the Bible.
How do you know?
Well, how do you know that Satan didn't write that part so that you wouldn't expect it?
Well, okay. No. Okay. Okay. Well, there is a little bit of faith involved.
There's a little bit, huh?
There is faith.
Well, yeah, but that's how Satan can get in, right?
Okay, but see, we're getting off topic here.
Well,
I think.
I mean, you're saying that commands, though we can't judge the morality of commands that come from God, but we can.
That's right.
Judge the morality of commands that come from Satan. But then, how do you know which command?
There are no commands that come from Satan.
Well, you don't know that.
Didn't Satan tell Eve to eat an apple?
Yeah.
Or a fruit, excuse me.
Did he not tell? No, he didn't tell her to eat it. He lied to her and told her that she was wrong, that
Okay,
she would not die.
well, actually, she didn't die.
He
That
offered
day.
he offered Jesus the whole world.
Whoa, hold on.
And said, "Follow
She
me."
didn't die, but she did die.
No, she didn't
Did
die
she?
that day.
Oh, well, that wasn't what God said.
Yeah, it is, actually.
No, it's not. No,
the day
no,
that
it's
you
not.
eat of
God-
it, you shall die. Do I
That's
have to
right.
look it up?
No.
No.
I understand exactly. And if you read it, it says you will die. If you eat this, you will die. It doesn't say you will die right then. He says you will die.
It says that day, dude,
and-
but we are getting off topic.
Yes, we are. Okay.
So,
we are getting off topic.
so
I think
Linnea,
Satan caused
you
you
go
forget
with
to
this.
forget that.
All right, hold on. Let me back up here. Let me lay the premise, okay? The premise
All right.
is that human standards of morality are applied only to human beings, okay? God is not a human. Therefore, we cannot apply human standards of morality to God.
Cool. So we can't say that God's commands are moral.
Well, Satan is not
We
a
can't
human
say-
either.
No.
Can you
God's
apply
commands
your
are not-
laws of morality to Satan?
God's commands are
Yeah.
not based on morality.
Right. Are Satan's
They're not-
commands
God
based
doesn't
on
command
morality?
us- God does not give us commands based on whether they're moral or not. They're commands from
Okay.
God to be done because they're from God, period.
Well,
You
why
can't
do you
say
do them
that
then?
they're moral. Why do I do them?
Yeah. If
Well,
they're not
well-
moral, and he
Well,
is so
well,
far
there
above it.
again,
I mean, are
there
you just
again,
like
there
a
again,
dolphin?
I don't find
you-
any commands that go against my moral conscience. Now, if you want to
Okay.
say that the commands that God gave the Israelites in the Old Testament were immoral, and by all standards of today, by what we recognize as immoral today, slavery is absolutely wrong. The command seems immoral, but
I'm
those
just-
people.
I'm confused why you would do it. Like, are you like a dolphin who's jumping through hoops at SeaWorld? Like, why are you doing
No.
these commands?
Why no? I'm not a dolphin jumping through hoops.
Well,
Hey,
yeah,
Steve,
but-
I need to
and
read
that's
you.
what I'm telling
I'm
you
sorry,
is I don't-
Steve.
He wants
Steve,
to prove he's
don't-
right.
I need to read
I
you from
follow the
Genesis.
Bible,
Steve,
and the Bible does not
Steve,
go against
do
my-
I have to
Yes,
put
sir.
you on hold?
God
No.
commands
I
that
need
you
to-
don't speak over other people.
I need to read to you Genesis 2:17 from the King James version. It says,
Okay.
"But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, he did say that day,
No, he said that the day that you eat of it, you will die.
and she ate it and didn't die that day.
He didn't say you will die immediately.
All right, so
He
God
said
is
that
a
the
very
day- no,
cunning
let me-
linguist,
let me-
let's say.
That sounds like
you're
the kind of
confusing
monkey's
it.
paw setup that Satan would make.
You're confusing it. You see, he said that the day
Well,
that you eat
it's
of the
not
fruit-
my fault that God's not a better writer.
Well, it's just plain. See, you're reading into it something that's not saying. You see,
I don't think so.
That's all it is you're reading into it something that it doesn't say.
I think you're right, honey. We can
Thank
move
you.
on,
That's
though.
very sweet. But I mean, it sounds to me like you're telling me that I and Linnea can't
Yeah.
judge the moral content of God's commands, but
Yeah.
you're also saying at the same time that you can judge the moral content of those commands, because you're telling me that you know it's okay to follow those commands because nothing that God has commanded conflicts with your personal sense of right and wrong. So why
don't
is
think
that
it
that
conflicts
your
with
personal
anybody.
sense of right and wrong seems to be the determining factor, but we're not allowed to use ours?
No. The Bible, none of the commands in the Bible conflict with standards of morality. They're not
Like
saying-
slavery.
that's what I'm saying. Huh?
Like slavery, you're cool with slavery.
No, I'm not cool.
Well,
with
then they
slavery.
do.
No, because I'm not commanded to have slaves. God does not
Oh,
command
so
me to
but
have
you're cool
slaves.
with other people having slaves.
No.
If you got in a time machine,
No, I'm not.
you got back.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, but
okay?
if an
And
angel
that's
came
what I'm
down,
telling you.
if an angel came down.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He asked a question, and I'm trying to answer it.
Okay.
Okay? He asked me if I think it's okay for other people to have slaves, and I'm telling you no. And I'm telling you that in the Old Testament, where God commanded the Israelites to take slaves, that was a situational. That was for the Israelites against those people that he commanded to take against. It's not, and you can twist it. People do. People take the Bible and they say, look, God said it was okay for them, it must be okay for me. That's not the way it's done. That's not the way it is.
Didn't you just say that nothing God ever commands conflicts with our understanding of right and wrong?
That's right.
Okay, well,
Okay,
I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I think if I had infinite power, I could come up with a better way of dealing with people who are maybe being jerks than saying, you guys are all slaves.
All right, so then you're just complaining about, so now you're complaining about the way God teaches people.
Well,
no,
yeah,
I'm complaining about the actual morality of the commands he makes.
If your lesson is go take slaves, then yeah, I'm complaining about that teaching.
Okay.
If I were back then, I would assume that was a command from Satan, and maybe not from God. So I'm wondering how you could tell the difference.
How could I tell it? Well, if somebody commanded me, if I was commanded to take slaves, then I would have a real problem with that.
Well, good.
Okay, I would think that was from Satan. Okay?
I'm glad that your moral compass is intact, despite what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, we agree.
I'm
we would not do that.
I'm having a hard time hearing him. You're really loud. What is your name? Are you Tracy?
Oh, I am Lynnea. I am substitute hosting.
Okay. Well, and Russ is the other one, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, there you go. I was having a hard time hearing you. You're like in the background.
I don't know why that is.
Okay, but I lost track of where we were at here. Okay.
Satan confounds. Go on.
Look.
Well,
God, we cannot place human standards of morality on God. Okay, simply because he's not a human being. Okay, God is neither moral nor immoral.
Okay, so what does he need? Why does he need us to follow his commandments then?
He doesn't need us to.
Then why does he want us to?
Well, because he says because he loves you.
That sounds like we're getting back to dolphin clicking, dolphin hoop jumping.
Why?
I mean, like jump through the hoops and you get a fish.
Well, why else would he want us to follow him?
I don't know. You're the one who believes in God. I don't think it's up to us to come up with the motives of this guy that we don't believe in at all.
What I'm telling you is it's because he loves us.
I think it kind of just doesn't make sense.
Whether it makes sense or not is irrelevant to the question at hand, is it?
And that's kind of the fundamental problem, I think, that it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's just a thing you do because someone said to do it, and it's not good or bad. It's just a thing. But you listen to the one guy telling you to do things, but you don't listen to the other guy telling you to do things. And there's no real way to tell the difference. And it's all kind of whatever.
Yeah, okay. Well, it still doesn't. That's what I'm saying. We're not even addressing the actual question that I had. Is it? I mean, we seem to be going all around it. Is God immoral?
Well, you started out by saying, by picking up something Matt said, and neither of us are Matt, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I would also say that it's immoral to command slavery.
He claims that he relayed the claim in the video that God was immoral.
Yeah.
And he used those scriptures to lay that claim.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm saying that you can't do that.
Why not?
I say you can.
Why?
Why not?
Why not? Well, is morality universal?
Is morality universal? That is
I'd
a
say-
complicated question for philosophers.
I would say it's pretty much universal, but the
Then why don't we apply to the
specific
animal
universality is
why don't we
very
apply-
complicated.
Then why do we not apply morality to the animal kingdom? If
Well,
it's universal
no,
and it
say-
applies to everything.
We have animal cruelty laws. Do you
Yeah,
think
but
those
why
should
don't
be
we-
abolished?
No. You're applying moral. I'm talking about when a
No,
male lion takes
saying
no,
that
no,
hold on. Saying that morality is universal is not the same as saying that it applies the same way on every level. Like, for instance, it would be bad of me to punch Lynnea. It would not be bad of me to punch this stuffed cow, because that cow does not have the same level of awareness as Lynnea or any level of awareness. Now, I'm totally aware that there are a lot of atheists watching right now who are very, very serious about animal rights, and I think that there are some legitimate arguments to be had about whether animals should be treated with the same courtesy and consideration as you treat people. And I think those are complex. But ultimately, I think that the conclusion that you come to on those questions come down to a matter of whether they are consistent with the values that we are generally trying to uphold, like not causing unnecessary suffering to sentience and how you define sentience. And those are issues where there may be legitimate disagreements. But those absolutely are the gray areas of the morality discussions. And I think that the question of whether you're allowed to have a slave that you're allowed to beat as long as he doesn't die within one day is a lot farther from that gray area.
You missed the whole point of that, didn't you?
You keep saying that.
You're saying that.
But then you keep bringing it down to your faith again, which we don't share.
Okay, and I asked you a question. If you're going to argue that morality was universal, let me clarify that. Do we apply our standards of morality? If we're going to apply our standards of morality to God, who's not a human being, then and God is those standards are applicable to God, and they must be applicable to everything. Okay.
So if
Including
God
the
decided tomorrow that all of us should be murdered, you would say that that's perfectly fine. Like suppose he did say that there was another great flood that would wipe out all humanity.
Hold on. We don't even have to do that.
Okay,
we don't even have to do that.
All right.
What if God said that Russell and I should be tortured? We should, have our kneecaps busted, acid thrown in our face, tongue cut out. Would you say what?
You're getting way off here.
No, that is a canonical part of Christian dogma. If you believe that hell is true, that's a thing right now that Christians think will happen to Russell and I as soon as we die. But if there's a meteor that hits us right now, we are being tortured.
And I'm telling you that my understanding of the Bible is I don't know what's going to happen to you. I can't say what's going to happen to you.
Well, God told you, unless you think that part was written by
God
Satan.
Doesn't tell me. No, God does not tell me how He's going to judge you. He doesn't tell me how
I'm
He's going to
saying
judge
right now, I don't
anybody.
believe in God. I reject Jesus. I'm going straight to hell.
Then all I can say, you are. Well, then by your own admission, then, not me. I'm
No,
not
according to
you
your story.
According to that story, God is going to put me in a situation where I am being tortured.
God is going to judge every person according to their deeds, both good and bad. Okay? That's what it says. Okay, that's how we're going to be judged.
And you agree with his ultimate judgments about whether people are being good or bad.
God's understanding is greater than mine. Yes.
So you judge God's point of view to be moral.
No.
No?
Well, let me put it this way.
So you don't know whether God's judgments are moral or immoral?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Okay? I'm going to answer that question. And I'm going to say that in the spiritual realm, which is where God is, the moral judgments will be moral. Yes, they will.
So you judge that to be moral? Yes.
Spiritual morals are different than human morals.
Okay. So could spiritual morals be immoral by human standards?
They very well could be.
Okay. Well, that's all we're saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think what you're saying is that it's cool if a tiger mauls someone and you bring the tiger into a human trial and you say, hey, tiger, you mauled someone, but we're higher beings than you. We're judging you by our standards. I guess you're locked up in prison forever.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Well, isn't that what God's doing by choosing heaven or hell?
We won't be humans, will we, when we're judged?
But we're being judged on the human things that we did when we were humans, right?
Ah, yes, and it won't be based on whether or not we meet the spiritual morality, will it? It's going to be based on what we do here, how we act here.
I think you need to try asking Satan what his ideas are, and compare it to what God says.
If he shows up one day, I might do that.
Okay. Well, let us know if that happens.
Yeah,
we're going to move on to other callers.
Tell us what he or she says.
Okay.
All right. Nice talking to you.
All right.
Okay. I am going to take Sean in New Jersey.
All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, you guys hear me?
We sure can.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. I'm a long-time listener and first-time caller.
Okay, welcome.
I was calling in regards to the Paris shootings that happened recently.
Yeah, terrible.
And I was listening to a podcast that Sam Harris did recently, and he basically was addressing the reaction that a lot of news media had in regards to the killings. And it seems like a lot of people don't want to address the issue of Islam and the problem of these people taking the book literally and actually acting out on what the book actually says.
I don't know who Sam Harris is talking to that he doesn't think that they are objecting to fundamentalist Islam or terrorism. Because, I mean, it sure sounded to me like everybody who said anything about the Charlie Hebdo shootings, except for ISIS and Al-Qaeda maybe, universally condemned the shootings, and that includes a whole lot of Muslim leaders.
Let me ask you a question. Are you white?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that the same week an NAACP building was bombed here in the U.S.?
No, I had no idea.
Do you condemn that?
I do.
Why haven't you A, heard about it, or B, gone out publicly condemning it? Like, I would expect you to go right now on your Facebook and say that you publicly condemn it, you do not agree with the things that those white people did, and you are ashamed to be white.
Yes.
Does that feel like a fair thing to ask?
I wouldn't say I'm ashamed to be white. I'm ashamed of their actions. Clearly that's a terrible thing that they did.
But do you feel like you should be responsible for making that apology public and disagreeing with the history
on behalf of white people?
Yeah, disagreeing with the history of white people.
No, certainly not. That's that wouldn't be accurate.
Right.
Because you're not responsible for the extremist things that a small group of people that you happen to belong to.
Yeah, I think
down.
that Sam Harris is mistaken when he says things like people don't condemn the shootings. But I also think that there is a certain impulse to basically run and hold all Muslims accountable, to the point where there was like a CNN anchor the following week, Don Lemon, who went out of his way while he was talking to a Middle Eastern diplomat to say, by the way, do you support the actions of the Charlie Hebdo shootings? And the diplomat was just floored. He was like, are you kidding me right now?
Right.
And I think that was a perfectly reasonable reaction to have. Now, terrorism in all forms is absolutely inexcusable. Religious religiously motivated terrorism no less so.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, another example is consider the fact that right now prisoners of the U.S. Were being, anally raped with this anal feeding, in Guantanamo Bay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you
Yeah,
condemn that? Have you ever said a thing to condemn it? I mean, this is a thing that everyone knows is going on. It is kind of tacitly accepted.
I definitely condemn it.
And it's a horrible thing, but it's not getting the same kind of scrutiny, and it's not getting the same kind of, why is this allowed? Why is this even a thing? We need to stop it. We can't accept this at all. It's just kind of, oh yeah, that's kind of weird.
Did you guys see Sam Harris on the Real Time episode when Ben Affleck was on, and he was basically addressing Islam? The root cause of the problem with the fundamentalism, is in the Quran. It's like if you take the book literally and you adhere to the literal word of the book, then you're capable of
doing terrible things. And I listened to it via
he
podcast.
kind of was scrutinized by that, I think.
Well, the literal words of the Constitution say that that black people are 3/5 of a person. So.
Yeah,
it is not good in general to take anything on blind trust and faith.
Right.
And I think
agree.
that was a point brought up with the previous
I
caller.
definitely am in agreement with you guys as far as, to use critical thinking and insofar as to not take the little word of a book that's been written thousands of years ago. I just feel like the national conversation on Islam right now is just a touchy one. It seems like some people are, it just seems like everybody wants to not blame Islam in regards to the ideals and, why these people actually put AK-47s in their hands and shot people,
I think it's absolutely true that that religious extremism, that any particular religion, when taken way too seriously, can lead to violence, and I think, and I absolutely do agree that there are a lot of very disturbing sects in the world who are Muslims specifically, committing a lot of terrorist acts, and I am opposed to that.
I agree. I mean, I know there's other factors involved in why these people do what they do. I know that it's not just religion and their belief that causes this to happen. So, I mean, I guess,
I feel like the thing that you want from us is like a kind of like an "I'm not racist" plaque. You're kind of coming to like two white people and you're saying, man, those things those Islamic people did, that was bad, right? And I can say that Islam is bad still, right? And that's not really a blanket thing that I'm comfortable giving out. So, I mean, they did bad things.
I agree with you. I don't want you to misunderstand me because I do. I'm certainly in agreement with you that not all Muslims are capable of doing what these people have done.
Most Muslims aren't.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm addressing the reason why it happened, and when really just if these people weren't fundamentally religious, would they have still committed these acts?
It is certainly a reason why most people weren't. But like a few months ago, a guy shot up a university and specifically left behind a whole bunch of documents that he had posted that said he was angry because hot women wouldn't date him. And he linked,
I remember that, yeah.
And he linked to a number of like men's rights websites. And a lot of people rushed to say in that case that certainly it couldn't have been his ideology. It must have been his mental illness in some way. Now, I think that what motivates somebody to do horrible acts like that is most definitely a combination of their ideology and their access to violent weapons.
Right.
And the mental state that they're in, because certainly most sexually frustrated guys do not go around murdering people, but it takes a very special combination of mental state and ideology, motive, method, and opportunity, basically, to push somebody into that very special place of committing mass murder. And I think that Islam is definitely one of those ideologies that can lead you there.
Right. I mean, I guess if you then apply the same logic of, like, bad, let's just say bad ideas, just the concept of believing a bad idea. And, you know, obviously you guys have had many conversations with creationists, people that deny scientific evidence because of, you know, their desire to just want to feel good about a belief they have. You know, I mean, is it, you know, whether it leads to murder or whether it leads to denying science, I think that the point is just that, you know, addressing the problem with believing bad ideas, I think, is what
I
really
think
we're very much against believing in bad ideas.
Yeah.
Thinking that bad ideas can lead to these kind of violent things, though, worries me, because it kind of gets to the kind of mindset of, well, that means I'm immune, so I don't have to worry about it.
Because I never have any bad ideas.
Because I don't have bad ideas, because I'm a skeptic. And it's the kind of reason why, you know, sexual harassment is so prevalent at atheist conventions. It's because for a long time they didn't think that they had to deal with it because they're so rational, obviously.
Wow.
they wouldn't do that kind of thing. And so now they've kind of figured out, no, that actually is a problem. Maybe we should deal with it. So, you know, it's trying to say, oh, because I'm an atheist, because I'm a skeptic, I won't fall for something stupid like that that'll ask me to go so incredibly violent. But, you know, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there are many different forms of bad ideas out there, and having the Atheist Experience is one way of combating one particular category of bad idea, and that includes Islam. But that's not enough. We have to encourage people to be generally on guard for bad ideas, not only in other people, but in themselves.
Especially in themselves.
Especially in themselves. And you know, Muslims, too, ought to learn that stuff.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, that applies obviously to many many theists of all types.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I guess that's all I really have to say, and I really appreciate you taking my call.
Well, that's good.
Great.
Thanks for
Thank
calling.
you.
We are out of time. We've got a few people backed up that we can talk to in the after show, but we'll see you all at El Arroyo. Thank you for watching. That's our show. We'll see you next week.